Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Daredevil Born Again review series. I am the Tooth Fairy, Tresnell, and I'm joined by...
I am the turn your flash off, Kirkland Patzer. I'm Dilmus.
I'm the amusing Taylor Field.
Well, there you go. That's something there. For you, did you watch the right episode, sir?
I skipped last week's and just went straight to this one. No,
Yeah.
of course.
What's
I
up with
watched them
Muse?
both.
Where is he?
Yeah, why is he not in this?
Can't wait for him to come back. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we're here to talk about the penultimate episode of Daredevil Born Again. Next week is the finale, so it should be a good time. After that, Andor starts up, so me, Taylor, and Kirkland will be back for the next 4. You guys ready? Next 4 Tuesdays? Ready for those 3-hour Star Wars blocks? Oh my god.
Are we doing
Right
midnights? We back?
You broke him.
I've been
You
gone
broke 'em,
for
Taylor.
over a week. I cut me some slack. I don't remember.
How
I don't
much
remember
changes in
any
a
of
week? A lot. Big change.
That is like the 3rd time he's asked me this about the Andor. Andor releases at 6 p.m. just like Daredevil.
That
and
did sound
3
sarcastic,
episodes.
though, I will
What?
say, from Taylor's perspective.
Because what? They're like hour-long episodes, right?
Yeah.
So by
he's
the
being
time it'll be like
serious.
9. So we're going to do it like 10 or 11? Might as well just do midnight at this point.
This is great content. for
I'm
the
gonna start
listeners
watching
of
them.
the Daredevil
Midnight
episode 8
next
review.
Either way, if you like Andor, we will be reviewing it at one way or another. That's why it's just best to subscribe whatever you feel like, whatever podcatcher, whatever video service, or most importantly on Patreon, because you don't have to miss an episode. Whether we record at 9, midnight the next day, who knows? Apparently it's up for the debate, but we will be back. And then also Last of Us starts this weekend as well. And then we got a slew of movies coming up. We got Sinners, we got Mission Impossible, we got Thunderbolts, we got lots of stuff, news sprinkled throughout, side quests, has told yous, gimmicks. Just you're gonna get just juiced this next little bit. Starting May to about I'd say August, because we're gonna finally come up with some GV10 stuff. Gonna be a good day. So everything you know is down below, the links. We very much appreciate whatever you do, how to support us. Shout out to the Patreon's producers. No one's on there. Aaron Braden, April Darkness, Jack Grant. Thank you very much. Sam, Superbad Mike, God Loves Me 69, Jeremy Renner, and Charlie Randell. Thank you very much for supporting us. And go there and get a bunch of benefits. Mission Impossible retrospective, Fantastic Four retrospective, Superman retrospective, where we reviewed all those. Our next movie night or movie day is going to be April 26th, Saturday, 12 p.m. PST. We're going to be watching Top Secret in honor of Val Kilmer. So if you want to come along, watch a movie with us, we're going to have a good time. And did we have a good time here? We're about to find out. And I'm going to throw to Taylor Field, who was missing last week. So Taylor, what were your thoughts on last week? Quickly, a couple sentences. And then what were your thoughts on this second to last episode?
Yeah, last week it was...
Whoa. Sorry, did he just say second to last instead of penultimate? Is this a new
I already
Travis?
said
He did say
penultimate.
penultimate. He did say it
Yeah,
earlier.
so I don't want to spam it too much.
I
It'll
missed
come
the
up
first
again.
penultimate. My bad.
Yeah.
Sorry, Taylor. Go ahead.
Yeah, so last week wasn't great. I wasn't feeling the hotness from that episode. So I think that there are definitely some moments that were okay, but overall it just was kind of lackluster. It was missing something. Just is not doing it for me. And so I'm very, very relieved that this episode was doing it for me. It was getting in all my grooves, and I think this one was just really something that was setting up an awesome finale. And just, could you say it was maybe rushed at times? Yeah, because they touch point on certain things, mainly just with one character, and I feel like, okay, things really expedite in this character's arc, but I was totally all for it. And just there's one scene in particular, I was like, oh fuck, and it happened. And then we get just the way they use they filmed the characters' scenes in a certain way, and it's like a quick visual effect for like 3 seconds, and I really like it because it kind of pulls you out of everything else that's going on. It puts you in the shoes of this person for a minute, and I really I like it. I liked it a lot, and it just pulls you out and think, oh my god, like, okay, this is the plan that everyone has, like, this person's got a plan, this person's got a plan, and it's just this whole narrative moving forward. But it's like, okay, none of these plans matter because all of a sudden we're derailed here, and it just like hones you out into this moment. So I think that's great. Everything else with the characters up to this point, I think I'm really enjoying it. I think it's fantastic. It's great. But again, it's not devoid of them having trouble throughout all these past episodes. So I'm hoping that, from what we got in this episode, as much as I loved it, they just need to stick the landing in the finale, and then, we're okay. We're doing good. But I have questions based on what the certain revelations were in this episode. I got some questions, so questions that need answering.
But you just arrived. Mr. Musk, obviously you're a little down on last week. Are you even more down? You still same level? You up? Where are you on the mountain?
Yeah, it was the last 3 episodes has been a big dip in quality for me. But yeah, this just shot right back up there in terms of like being a top tier kind of episode for the season for me. You know, Travis, you were saying last week that like these last 2 episodes were part of the reshoot era of the show. So I don't know if that's, I don't think I was like biasing my opinion. I think I was just like super engaged by everything that was going on here. You know, one of my questions last week was like, okay, with Muse being gone episode 7, like, what are we doing for 2 episodes? And the solution to that was like bring back a specific character and have a lot of fun with them. And that all of that stuff worked for me. So really, really enjoyed that. Curious to see how Kirkland feels about that. And then, yeah, I think just like most of this episode was kind of like one set piece. And it was like a really well done set piece with a lot of tension going on, a lot of characters, little mini interactions on the side, flip flopping people back and forth. There's just one sequence in this episode that I was like, didn't really get it or didn't really know what it was building towards, so I need to question you guys about that. But overall, I think this was a really great episode, really great writing, great acting, good action, just really, really good tension, especially like the final sequence. Like, I didn't know what the heck was going on, and I was just loving every second of it. So yeah, really, really solid episode.
Mr. Patzer.
Hello. I was gonna say Mr. Me, and then I just had like a flashback to you criticizing me saying that. So yeah,
You said it anyway.
for the most part, I really, really enjoyed this episode. I think there was a couple moments that really just had me shaking my head. But overall, I would still give this a solid shaking.
Like head banging or shaking?
I feel like nodding is like more of a term for like an agreement.
That's not
but
really
shaking,
a shake then.
Shaking is like bad. Yeah, no.
Shaking's bad.
Negative.
'Kay.
But only a couple moments. They were enough to like really just take me back. But yeah, for the vast majority of it, I think this is a really, really solid episode. There's a lot of just good converging of rivers into just like one big like final sequence. Just having a lot of pieces, I
An
think,
ocean,
all in
you
the
could
same
say,
playing
maybe,
field.
you know?
You might say that. It doesn't feel that big yet, maybe in season 2. But no, I think for the most part, this was really good. There's some good tension moments. Not really a spoiler, but just some things were going on with our BB Uric character, and I was just really, really digging what was going on there. So that got me really excited. Just for like hoping what was going to potentially be happening with that character. I like that we're going in that direction. So yeah, overall, I think this was really, really positive. Yeah, I think I'll just leave it there for spoilers.
Thanks for covering as I was coughing because Kirkland was about to be done, and then
I know I had to, meet the word
What
count,
do I
just
do?
like in the essays. Yeah,
yeah.
and those are my thoughts. And that is all.
That's Mr. Patzer's, Mr. Him's thoughts. Best episode of the series, I think. I don't think there's a moment that matches what the Frank and Matt conversation was. That to me was a topper, like comic book Marvel thing. But overall, that was always my favorite episode. This eclipsed it. I think it just. I'm excited to get into spoilers because it's not a complete good analogy, but I feel like, and I like majority of these episodes. I think there's a lot of episodes that they vary, right? There's some that I do think are weaker, but I'd all pretty much give them a pass. I think maybe there's 1 or 2 that were close to a fail or did fail. But it does feel like with this episode, you could maybe skip a lot of episodes. It feels very, it's funny because the 3 episodes that were the complete all done was episode 1 and then 8 and 9. There's portions of this that feel like you could watch episode 1 and just skip all the way to 8. Not exactly, of course, right? But there's just things where now they don't feel like filler, but they don't feel as important as we were kind of hoping. And I think it just definitely shows of like these people started the season and then they're going to bookend the season, go right into season 2. So it definitely feels more like that. And I will say, I'm not going to say the closest, but I feel like if you are a big fan, obviously not Kirkland and Taylor, but if you're a big fan of Daredevil season 3, this is hidden some stuff that has been hanging for a while. I don't know if Mike will be happy, but I remember Mike being like, "Oh, they better answer this." Like, there's certain things that maybe they didn't answer, but they go back to him like, "Oh, we're finally getting some payoffs," or it feels like it's way more tied in. And again, Benson Moorhead, who directed, I think they did Loki season 2, something of Moon Knight, and then now they're doing Daredevil season 2 in these the overhaul episodes. So I trust them in this sense, and that's good. But it definitely feels like they have attached themselves to that season 3 more so than the rest of the show had, and I very much appreciate that. Loved a sequence with a character that I know we're going to talk about. I loved everything about that. Just this, yeah, can't say more. Just the unpredictability levels in this episode were fantastic. Multiple reveals that paid off. I still think there's some meh writing, particularly with Heather. Not an acting thing, but man, they do not know how to write this character. There's multiple things I brought up that they feel like they're trying to actively make you dislike this character and not want this character around, which is not a good thing unless it's the villain, right? And I'll bring up multiple points where it just feels like she's just saying things to either get Matt riled up or because the plot needs her to say these things. None of them really make sense. So still not a perfect episode, but I think it sets us up for a really good finale. And now if the finale can hit, if the finale is this quality, my excitement for season 2 has gone up because this is the team that's doing all of season 2. So already this felt like a major, like I said, I'm putting it at number 1. So it felt like a major improvement from many of the episodes we got here. And it left me just dying to see what happens next week. You know, many episodes, I feel like there's been half and half where we go, okay, cool, that's Daredevil. But this week I was like, okay, I wish this was a binge. I could find out what's going to happen right now, and I'm curious where we're going to end up. So that's our non-spoiler thoughts. Anything else to say before we jump the barrier?
Jump the barrier.
Going once, going twice. Sold to the man in the white suit. We're going to take our first ad break, and then we'll be right back talking all spoilers. And we are back. So, you know, again, we're in spoilers, so run away if you want, but we got to start with, you know, Kirkland Patzer's favorite man. Hello, Kirkland. It's nice to see you again.
I knew you were going to have that one loaded.
I had to upload it. Bullseye is back, baby. And it's funny because I knew we talked about this last week where we saw shots of him in the prison, but I thought either that would just dovetail something or that could be like, oh, that's going to set him up for season 2, right? Like maybe that's an end credit or an end episode to be like, oh, he's out there and look out for Point Dexter. But the fact that he got out, and that's what I didn't want to say in the non-spoilers, he just brings, and I'm not sure if Kirkland will agree with this because you dislike the character for multiple things, but at least I feel like when this character is interjected in the show, there's just a level of chaos around him that you never know what's going to happen. And yeah, maybe it's some very rambunctious, over-the-top things he's doing and getting out of situations and throwing, but like even the tooth thing, yeah, that's pretty fucking crazy, but that's ripped right out of the comic books. The only difference is in the comic books he had his costume on, but that's ripped right out of the pages. So just the getting out and even his scene with Matt was, to me, also a home run there. So I'm so glad Bullseye is back. And luckily what they did with episode 1, I'm going to feel like we can't kill him. So even next week, if like Punisher fucking just unloads a whole clip on him, I feel like Point Dexter will stick around. So I don't want him to be comatose or in prison. Same thing as Fisk. Like, I hope this means now he's going to be out there for a bit, like just causing havoc. But I loved everything with this character. Loved everything with Bullseye this episode.
Yeah, super fun.
Super fun, yeah. I I like bits and pieces of it. I feel like the whole escape, the specifics of it, I was just rolling my eyes. It's like, yeah, of course. Like as soon as I saw his bloody smile and like what he's doing with his mouth, I'm like, fuck off here. He's gonna be doing some ridiculous Bullseye magic,
great,
and it worked. And you know, like I do appreciate the overall just I think threat of him like on pursuit, like just a guy that has an aimbot. He's never gonna miss. Like if he's after you, you know, and he's not in prison, that's dangerous. So I like the intensity of that. I think I had an issue with just how quick it was of him just like being like in handcuffs, and then he's just like at the mayor's what the hell is it even called? Mayor's
Inaugural
ball.
mayor ball, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. That's
IMB.
a tongue twister for me. But I think it seemed really fast for it to just get to that moment. I did really appreciate just like Taylor, you shouted this out in the spoiler-free section, but just like the camera work that they had around him, like when he was getting ready to do the shot, it was very, I mean, it's probably comic booky, just the way that it like narrows in. For me, it reminded me of just anime, and it was just really, really badass. The music tied to it, just like, whatever like song they had going on. I was really, really pulled into that sequence. I will agree, him and Matt back and forth, I really, really dug that because I felt like the first time. And this is kind of like a thing overall for this episode I've noticed, just from Matt being so much more like aggressive in this episode and that scene in particular. Like he, you know, shut the fuck up. Like he's just dropping F-bombs, dude. And like he has no time to really just play around with him. Like, it just seems like he doesn't even want to be in the same room, let alone have to converse with him. So I did like the intensity of that. And yeah, just when he smashes his head in, it's like, officer, he smashed his own head in, and then
He's insane.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I did appreciate those moments. So I will have to admit, overall, this was a pretty positive Bullseye episode for me. Even
He's
though
winning
Nice.
Kirkland over.
even
the
though I don't
tide's
love
turning.
the character, yeah, it's they executed
Love
it
to see
well.
it.
So tip my hat to them.
Give us that Bullseye show, you know?
No.
I don't know if I
Oh, yeah.
want that as a Bullseye fan.
I want like
No.
a special, like what Punisher's getting. I'd
Yeah, sure.
take like
Give him
a
a special.
45, 50 minute, like what is he up to for an hour? You
I'm
know?
not on that. Review.
Especially where
No
there's just
way.
like a kill count like on screen the whole
Oh,
time, and that
yeah.
number just keeps going up and up. I think he's a really fun character to me because there's like, obviously he's very intimidating, he's very intense villain, just in terms of like his power level and like, you know, as like he doesn't have like much personality. Like he's really just like grimacing all the time and doing like a dark smile and all that. Then I feel like there's like an air of like a slightly cheesy factor to him with like the power set that you're talking about, Kirkland. Just like it is a little over the top, like especially, you know, within the greater MCU, it's totally normal, but within the Daredevil show, something about it seems like a bit cheesy. And so like when he does the tooth thing, I don't know, I like chuckle a little bit, even though he's like terrifying at the same time. And like that shot when he's like going up the elevator and he's holding like a fucking fork and it's just dark and he's just like slowly moving up. Like I was just chuckling in the best way possible. But at the same time, I'm like, I don't know what the hell he's gonna do. This guy's so unpredictable. And so the fact that it's like hitting these very two specific tones that I think is really, really fun. So yeah, I liked that scene. I'm curious, like, because in the scene when Matt visits him at the prison, they're having that conversation. He had a line where he was like, "Good men defend their worst enemies," which seemed like is that a quote from Daredevil? Like, did he say that at some point? Is that like a callback to some other like,
but I
the old
feel
show
like
or
that's,
early
I
in the
wonder if
season?
that's something either biblical or something to do with law. Like I'm wondering if that's like something I
Okay.
might have to do. Maybe I'll search up the quote, but nothing that I could hear from like old Daredevil. Like, oh, that makes sense.
Yeah,
Oh, someone's
because
searching up.
in that scene, it stood out as like a really weird quote to me. It's like, is that a thing? Is that like a known thing? Is that like a saying? Like it didn't sound familiar, and it also didn't make any sense to me. So I was very weirded out by that line. But then, you know, it obviously comes like full circle moment at the end. Good men defend their worst enemies, where he takes a bullet for Fisk at the end. So like it connects at the end, and it was cool in that way. But it was kind of a strange thing in the moment. It really stood out to me of like, what an odd thing for him to say, but also he is an odd guy. So I don't know. Maybe that was just him trying his best to like get him to defend him and get him out of there. But yeah, like the whole, and yeah, like that, the fact that like this all happens because he smashes his face into there, that takes him to the infirmary and has the tooth out. And that's like the reason he breaks out. And that's why he's able to shoot Matt at the end. Like it just, I don't know, all these kind of consequences that Matt couldn't have seen, I think are really, really fun. And obviously he's the one who took the bullet for it in the end. So yeah, I loved everything with Bullseye. 10 out of 10 for that character here.
Taylor, I heard you type in. Did you come up with something?
Yeah, so people thought that it was Winston Churchill, but it's not. Apparently, it's a guy named Victor Hugo. The phrase, good
Oh,
men
yes.
save their enemies, is a paraphrase of a statement from one of his essays, but not an exact quote.
Which we all know is
18
Bullseye's favorite writer.
He loved
right.
Victor. Or what was his name?
1845. Victor Hugo.
Victor
Yeah, we-
Timely? Oh, okay, Hugo.
Yeah. He Bullseye. You didn't see that in season 3. He was reading all that stuff. Oh, Victor, I love him. You know. Taylor, what do you think about Bullseye?
Yeah, he, like I said earlier in the non-spoilers, the scenes with this character, when it trips out and just goes psychedelic and it just pulls you out of the moment, like, holy shit, okay, like everyone has their own plan. Fisk is pulling people's legs, and you got Matt's getting pissed off in the area, eavesdropping on everyone, just going crazy. And then it pulls you out of it because it's like, okay, here he is, this guy standing with a gun, and you think, okay, he's going to get shanked. But then the corner of your eye down below, you see the guy with the fork in his neck. You're like, oh, he's already in position. Holy fuck, like this is just crazy. So I really appreciate that. I think everything with him was just crazy, and like the tier was thrown through the roof from what I feel like what we've had before. Like there's definitely weird, insane levels of him before. Probably my most favorite one is when he's in the car in I think season 3, and I can't remember what he actually says because I've just rewritten the meme in my head where he's like, that's Agent Maddie, he's one of the good ones, and he's got his girlfriend's head. He doesn't actually say Maddie, but I just don't remember the name that he actually says.
Some of the good ones,
But
Julie.
I just think like on top like that, and then this now where he's just like spits a tooth out of his mouth, and obviously this surgeon and this cop, they probably hear the stories, but they don't know the extent. They probably think maybe it's bullshit, it's just rumors. But you as a viewer, you've seen everything Bullseye's done, and so when you see him smiling with that tooth, you're thinking, "Fuck, it's game over." And why they took the cuffs or the things, the gauntlets off his hands, I don't know, because that would have saved their lives if they just kept his little like the gauntlets on him.
Nah,
But
he would have found a way out. Bullseye's
but
all the way.
he
Once
did
got
the
him in that
tooth.
infirmary,
He
was
did.
over.
He took the tooth. The tooth managed to hurt the guard, but not kill him. And then what really killed both of them was the scissors. That was the thing. So they should have kept his hand sealed. But for whatever reason, it is what it is. But I honestly think that it was Daredevil that helped give him that leeway, because smacking the head loosened the tooth, and so he was able to just like crunch down and bite that sucker out of there, and then shoot. Was it one of the canines? I have to go back and see which tooth. You guys know? Was it a
No,
wisdom?
I thought it was one of the front ones actually. Or actually, I don't know. No,
I think it was
because he
off
had
to
the
the
tooth.
side.
Yeah, it's off the side.
The
plus you
vampire
wouldn't wanna do
fang,
that.
too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
No,
The
I think it was
sharpest
one
one
you
of them
couldn't
all.
see, because they probably don't want to CGI that out every fucking episode going forward. So
Just a fucking big gap right in the middle.
yeah, like, he might look a little goofy.
got like a
so
lisp
yeah,
for the
probably
rest
that.
of
And
the
then, hi Daredevil. And then also remember he's super powered now too. So that like someone might be like, oh, just a tooth to the eye, like that should be fine. But he's been like super soldier teeth power through them. So yeah, he got out, and I'm trying to think. So yeah, he got out of there. That's what they talked about with Matt, where first second they go back to Josie's, which I was very confused, but I guess she's trying to reopen the bar, but he's like just standing out there, and the door just opens, and Josie's like, "You want a drink?" I was like, "What the fuck is
kinda
going
odd,
on?"
yeah.
I was like, "Is she a ghost? Like, what's going on here?" But then Matt's fucking just pounding the shots back, so I love that, because that means between finale and season 2, we're gonna get a fucked up Matt Murdock. Like, he is not gonna be in good shape. He's pounding these back whatsoever. And then they revealed that last time I opened this bottle was for Foggy, and he's like, no, like Maddie, fucking Taylor got me Maddie, Agent Maddie. Matt's like, no, like he would never do that. He only does that when he wins certain cases. At this moment, I thought the Foggy was alive crowd was gonna have their moment, because when they were doing the put together, I'm like, oh fuck, he's gonna be like, did he smell some alcohol somewhere? I don't know. But they put together that no, as of right now, Foggy's still alive. But as of right now, he put together that okay, Foggy was gonna win the case. He got word, so he's celebrating, and then that's why he was taken out, and that's where he thinks it's Fisk, and that's where again it refers back to Matt made a deal with Kingpin in season 3 where, okay, I won't go after Vanessa if you don't go after Karen and Foggy. So for Matt, this is a big revelation of fuck, man. Like, even beginning the episode, like, Fisk said, no, like, I stayed true to my word. I didn't do this stuff. So he's thinking the worst. Also, we talk about Wednesday Bullseye. The dancing. We'll get to Heather, because I have problems about Heather. When Matt shows up to the ball, man, is he wired. And that was uncomfortable watching.
Like he just did a line or something.
100%.
Sorry,
He's feeling-
so sorry.
He's looking like Al Pacino in Heat right now, and he's just like moving around, and he's just like ready for a fight. He's ready just to go like clock the fucking mayor for it. Like, she's like, oh, we shouldn't talk to him. Well, let's go talk to him. And he's like, oh my god, like he is unhinged right now. They dance. I fucking love when he overhears them talking, and he like pretends the button like, oh, can I have this dance, and pushes Fitz aside to get to Vanessa, and they do that talk. And man, that was the reveal, because I don't know how much we talked about. I think we did in the beginning of episode 1, but because Bullseye was kind of gone, we didn't really dive much into the fact of why did he do this. Thought, okay, Bullseye's crazy, he just wants revenge on these people, right? But no, it was Vanessa, which kind of fits, because in season 3 at the end, Vanessa started doing hits using Bullseye, so it's not like she had not used him before. Obviously he had tried to kill her, so there's some tension there, but bygones be bygones. But yeah,
The devil you know, right?
Yeah, your worst enemy, right? Defending your worst enemy, whatever. But yeah, it was revealed that no, it was not Fisk. It was Vanessa who killed to have Foggy and Karen. Obviously, Karen made out, but Foggy and Karen almost killed. And yeah, to me, I absolutely love that. I thought it was great. I thought Trax was stuff that happened in season 3. I thought Track with all this hinting and pantomime that Vanessa's really big shit when you were gone, everything like that, and makes sense. Like, that's a big move to take out these people, especially like, I don't know if she knew about that deal Fisk made with Daredevil, but just even stuff too. And she's danced with Matt, and she refers to him being Daredevil, and she like pulls on his tie. Like, man, that whole sequence. Fisk and Heather are dancing this weird way where they're side by side, like moving.
He's like snapping.
Yeah. Oh, I love that when they're talking. Matt's like, he's a monster, and they go
Man.
to Fisk. He's like,
I was thinking of a GIF. I'm like, I gotta make that into a GIF. That is
he
just
was the
so good.
happiest birthday boy on the world. But no, I loved everything about the reveal, the pacing, the ballroom. It was just just no notes for that portion. Just fantastic tension building. And yeah, I really like that Vanessa was the one that made the call. And now it's kind of like Fisk is kind of like fucked. Like he's gonna stand by Vanessa, but like he didn't break the deal. But they kind of broke. I don't know. It's a black and white area, and then obviously Matt saved him, which I was very confused about as well. Obviously, like Dylan, you brought up, and then we kind of talked about like once I thought, like, okay, saves his enemy. There's some symbolism there, but at first I thought he was trying to save Heather, but the way they shot it was very odd, and I actually thought, me and Emily thought that's what was going to happen, that when Bullseye was perched up, all the couple's backs were them, and we thought because Fisk was with Heather, he was going to shoot Heather thinking that was Vanessa, and that would have been like a big, like, oh my god moment. But no.
See, I thought he was going to kill Vanessa thinking that it was Heather, and he was trying to get revenge on Matt in that moment.
Oh, okay. So we had the deference, but I guess he was just
So
going
either
for
way, I
Fisk.
was like, I don't know who the hell he's going to shoot, but
Yeah.
I can't wait to find out who he's gunning for here.
And I guess he's going for Fisk, and Matt saved his life, which, I get the sentiment, but I don't know. I don't know if it's worth taking a bullet.
Used
for
his
that
heart
man.
to stop that bullet. Which is,
Yeah, he should have aimed for the head. One, higher chance of kill. Also, Matt's not tall enough to like block that, I don't think.
Yeah.
So, for a guy who has perfect aim, I feel like the decision making was not great there. But he's probably wired as well. Probably like we didn't see it, but he had to do a whole stealth sequence. He probably is cracking necks, hiding bodies as he's climbing up that elevator and getting around there.
Oh, yeah.
So. Yeah, I want to see that POV at some point. Maybe we get that when we
He's
get
doing a high
the
chaos
bullseye.
The
When we get the
45-minute
bullseye
special.
special, we'll like see his perspective on that whole situation. But yeah, no, I mean the tension of like all those big reveals happening at the same time as like this, gun question mark who's he gonna kill thing, like just perfect. And I mean it's one of those things too. It's like, man, I really wanted to see just one more minute of what Matt was gonna say and how that would have unfurled, and obviously like Fisk about to reveal to Heather like the truth of him and all that. But I think it was perfectly well done the way they did it. Just teasing us there, getting some of those reveals in. Yeah, really, really good stuff.
I'm surprised that there's only one bullet in that gun. Another shot, and I'm pretty sure he could have hit Kingpin, but to each his own, I guess.
He brought the wrong gun.
Yeah, he
Should've brought
didn't
the
even
minigun.
seem to try or like take the fork out and like throw that as a backup.
Drop another
Wow.
tooth.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just breaks all his teeth. He's just like,
Yeah, machine
he's like
gun
a machine gun. Yeah, it's just scopes it. Get down! There's just teeth everywhere. And you're just like, what the fuck is going on in New York?
That sounds like a
Spider-Man shows
DC
up.
villain.
Yeah, absolutely, Teeth Man's. Yeah.
Yeah, I really was liking just the tension of I think everything being revealed and the way that it was happening. It was a lot all like at once during like a dance sequence. It just seemed like a lot in a really really short amount of time. Plus we're getting like the bullseye just sequences. So for me it just seemed a little like all over the place, a little sporadic. I feel to just digest. But I also I don't know how else you would just reveal all of that information with the amount of episodes we have left. So like the more I think about it, I feel like it's the best way to kind of handle it. But just some of like the quick shots between like Matt and Vanessa, and they're just dancing and like I don't know, just a couple of things that they're like revealing, and then Vanessa's like facial reactions. It just I don't know. It wasn't the easiest for me to palate. Maybe is a way to say it, but. Overall, like I liked the reveals themselves, maybe just not the execution of it so much, but I don't know. I did appreciate, just the Fisk dancing. Like it was goofy. So I feel like it was just a lot all at once for me to really, really appreciate. But
Well, and you got to remember, because you guys talked about like the lack of Bullseye a few times. Bullseye wasn't even in this original show. Remember, like he wasn't even episode 1. He wasn't any of this. Like he's an add-on after. So that's why it's like
Yeah.
such like a rush job. All this stuff, which that's why I'm hoping with season 2 that if he's in it, whatever the case is, this stuff could be spanned out. But again, like Foggy originally died off screen. It wasn't. I'm not even sure if they said it was Bullseye that did it in the original show or not. But and same thing with Vanessa actress. Like they reshot and then had to add her in. She wasn't even in that original show too. So it's just
crazy.
interesting to see how they've done that. So. What do we think is going to happen with Matt being shot? Because obviously lots is going on. And do they do this in a way where, because he saved Kingpin, because we've been talking about this where episode 1, Kingpin's like, hey, I'm glad you're not being Daredevil, but if you ever do it again, I'm going to come after you. Is that like a way for Matt to get some time bought? Like Fisk can be like, well, you saved my life, so I'm not going to go after you like right now, or you get a mulligan, or is he going to say, I'm not going to go after you like maybe he's not going to target
You
him,
get
like,
to be Daredevil 5 times.
yeah,
5
every
nights,
10
that's it.
years you have to go to land. No, but like, is he going to say a thing where like, hey, I'm not going to go after Matt Murdock, but if we ever see you on the streets, we're taking you down? Like, I feel like him saving his life has to play into it somehow, because Fisk is still like a man of honor. And I do wonder too, like, at this point, Matt doesn't 100% know that Fisk's back to doing shady stuff, right? He always has his suspicions, but like he was busy with Muse and other stuff, and like the White Tiger. None of that's been tied to Fisk, right? So he doesn't even know at this point. He just thinks he's saving maybe.
I mean, the way he
Fisk?
talks about Fisk to Heather
Yeah.
insinuates that he's still pretty sus of him.
But he thought he did the Foggy thing. Remember? That's why he was so wild,
Yeah,
because he
so-
thought he hired Bullseye.
So I took like he would have basically let Fisk die potentially if he didn't get the reveal to Vanessa. Like instantly, it's like
Yeah.
all of his
Right.
like direction
Good
just
point.
switched. Like, oh, Fisk actually wasn't to blame. So I feel like that switched again. It was like a pretty quick series of events. So I don't know for sure. So by the time that he jumped in front of the bullet, I was scratching my head. It just it just seemed so strange. At first, I thought he was jumping to save Heather. Like
Me
whoever
too.
it was that said it earlier. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
no, I was really
Good point.
confused, but I am thinking that is the case because it seemed like as soon as he got that reveal, it was just, holy shit, it was her all along. Like it was like a big.
What if he
Start
chucked
beating her down.
Vanessa? Just throws Vanessa right in front of the bullet.
She just ragdolling in front of the
Yeah.
bullet.
But what do you think?
Well,
Does he
no,
get a
so-
mulligan from Fisk now? Like, is Fisk
Yeah.
gonna feel like,
It
oh,
could be-
he did one for me?
It could be tied to like a public image thing. Like maybe Matt's just seen as like a hero now for like
Mm.
actually Matt Murdock for saving the mayor. I could see them running that direction. And he's just kind of forced to like, I don't know, basically congratulate him, give him a medal. Who knows?
Matt runs for
but
mayor.
I do think Kingpin's gonna know right away that Vanessa was to blame for Foggy and stuff like that. So that's gonna be an interesting just dynamic because him and Vanessa seemed like they were recuperating after
Yeah.
she did the execution shot on our poor Adam, whatever his name is, Adam.
R.I.P. Yeah,
That is his name, right?
Yep, it was
We called him
Adam.
so
It's
many
not
Andy.
things.
Yeah, it's
Andy,
Adam.
there we go.
Yeah, he didn't make it.
Maddie, Officer Maddie, one of the good ones.
Tough last
But
few
yeah,
weeks for that
I
guy.
think this will bring some tension there. But it also seems like he just, put all his cards on the table and said, like, no matter what, I'm going to be with Vanessa. Like, I'm not myself if I'm not with Vanessa. So,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I find it hard to believe that we're gonna get any like action scenes from him next week, given that he just got shot in the chest. I feel like he'll be tied up in the hospital or something. So I don't know if that's where like something like him recruiting Punisher or something like, dude, I can't do this, but you got to take this person out or that person out. But I also don't know. Like I feel like it'd be pretty rushed to just throw Punisher in there. So I don't know. I'm really uncertain. I also feel like it would be. I don't think this is going to happen, but I feel like this would be the perfect cover of like Matt's in the hospital recovering. And if Kingpin still just wants him dead just to get him out of the way, that would be like the perfect place to go like kill him and be like, oh yeah, I guess the bullet took his life. It didn't kill him in that moment, but like he could go to the hospital and make something funky happen. He probably owns all these nurses, like he owns all the cops and stuff.
Dead
so.
body with a pillow, just like submerged. Like, the bullet got him.
There's
I
a
couldn't
bullet hole
believe
in
it.
his head as well. Like, I guess the bullet traveled. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I guess two things though, because you're right with him in the hospital, he's exposed. I think there's two things. One, he saved his life, but also what I'm trying to think, like I'm hoping Fisk, like the character I see, he is loyal. He made that deal with Matt, right? And even though he didn't break it, he like his camp broke it, right? Vanessa broke, and again, we don't know if she knew the deal. Like, hey, you don't go after Karen Foggy, I won't go after Vanessa. So if she knew that was a deal and hired Bullseye, I could see Fisk not going to kill her or take her out, but I could see him being like just because of Fisk honor, I can't kill Matt Murdock because we made an agreement, and I I broke it. I went against my word. He didn't, even though he was Daredevil. I do think this is how you get Frank back in commission, because my theory was, I think I dropped at some point because we got later in the season, but I thought, oh, is Matt going to get arrested or something like that, and that's how you get Punisher? But this is a perfect way to get Punisher. Matt's tied up in the hospital. I think you're going to get Matt back in the suit next week. I think they might do like a mini time jump, like a couple weeks, so he's healed, but he's like, when he's fighting, it's still like like his shoulder will hurt, and when people hit him, the shoulder will hurt. But that's what I bet like in the first 5 to 10 minutes we pick up right away, and then they're going to jump ahead a couple weeks, because there's no way you don't get a finale of Daredevil while he's not in the suit. But I do think that's how he's going to see that Matt Murdock got shot. And because he mentioned Bullseye, right? And he, like, even Bullseye went after Karen. He's not like, I think fucking Frank Castle hates Bullseye. So I think if he's going to hear about these cops, which we'll talk about in a little bit, and then Bullseye's out there, he's shaving, he's cutting his hair, and he's getting in his van, and he's plowing down New York City. I cannot wait for next week. Oh my God.
Yeah. I mean, I think that they could do, given that we know another season's coming, like they could do an Infinity War thing where like he is just out of commission and like the hero lost or whatever, and then we like pick up with that next season.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't really know how they make like a satisfying finale, given that we have a whole nother hour to cover. Yeah, I'm curious to see what they do there.
Miss Marvel comes in, after all those
Maybe.
mentions, she comes in to help. But
The mutant.
yeah, what are you feeling? Go ahead, Harden.
I was gonna add. I did laugh when Matt jumps in front of the bullet, and like Fisk is holding him for like a quick second, and it just seems like he just like tosses him to the ground.
Get the
Like he
fuck
could-
off me.
Yeah,
My
Like, he coulda,
suit.
yeah, my suit. I just chuckled. It seemed like he did not place him to the ground. Like he dropped him to the ground. He fell
He's
with a
in
thud,
shock.
and then I'm like, oh, he's just gonna follow up with the classic fucking Kingpin, King Kong smash double fister, but maybe not in front of everyone.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Tay, what are you feeling about Matt being shot, the reveal, and what could be happening next week with Punisher and our boy here?
Yeah, well, just touch upon the fact, like, Miss Marvel coming in there. Man, Poindexter versus Miss Marvel, I think it's just...
Can you imagine if that's why she's not on the Endgame cast, or the Secret Wars cast, because Bullseye fucking
killed
kills
by
her in the
Bullseye.
show?
He gets hit by a tooth.
Not so marvelous now, are you?
He'd be this is gonna sound morbid, but he'd be the kind of guy that would kill like the whole family too. Like he's just-
Absolutely. Where you live?
We did see the dad come back. So.
not gonna give me a loan, huh?
I'm trying to pay for this suit, man.
But yeah, no. In regards to him getting shot, I thought that Dex was gonna shoot Mrs. Fisk, shoot Vanessa, and I thought, okay, he's gonna save Vanessa, ultimately warranting in a mulligan or some kind of like a pass you guys were already talking about, some kind of like I owe you by Fisk. But either way, this is. Dex just is out to get Fisk. He just fucking hates the guy at this point because he's just. It makes sense. I mean, yes, Vanessa may have hired him and sent him to do a job, yada yada yada. But ultimately, the one who got Julie killed was Fisk, Mr. Fisk, and that's the. I mean, that's the cherry on top. That was the main thing for Poindexter. So.
Yeah,
It is what it is.
They pretend to be alive. Remember, he was like, they had Julie like texting Poindexter, messing with him, and
Oh,
Julie
yeah,
been
they were
dead for
fucking him
weeks.
up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So, very risky move for like. Out of all, I get it because Bullseye is very capable, but out of all the assassins to hire, the guy that almost tried to kill you, which is kind of a little repetitive. It's funny, the last time they did this, remember, it was during Fisk and Vanessa's wedding, and Bullseye showed up and fucked it up. So it's kind of funny that like Fisk's inaugural night as mayor, and he comes up and fucks up. Like
This
you can't
fucking
do
guy.
Yeah, you can't do anything in public for Fisk, like a celebration, or Poindexter's going to be there somewhere with his.
He
teeth
needs to put him in
ready
one of
to
those
go.
Atom jails, because those are, you can't escape from an Atom jail. If you're in one of those, you're done for.
Yeah. Oh, that I thought you meant like ATOM. I'm like, what the fuck is that? Like, was that something
Atom
I
Heart
missed?
jail.
I thought that was like another like what is that? The raft. That's where they need to get him to. They need to get him to the raft. Just put him beside Harrison Ford. Let's see what they have to talk about. Harrison Ford, the leader. Who else is fucking there? Remember Trish Dillon from Jessica Jones? She's there now. you
Did
know?
Zemo
Really,
end
yeah.
up there? Or is he in Wakanda?
Zemo's walking free, I think.
No,
Is he
no,
free?
he's jailed up. No, he's jailed up.
he?
Yeah,
thought
I
he
think
was
he's in
walking away.
Wakanda now, if I recall. No, he's definitely jailed up because I rewatched. I just can't remember which prison he's in. But No, yeah, he's in Wakanda. They took him away. So, yeah, send Point Dexter to Wakanda, and then he comes back. He has a fucking vibranium suit. And he's spitting vibranium everywhere.
Oh God,
Vibranium teeth.
Yeah. All right. Before we continue on, let's take our next ad break, and then we'll be right back. And we are back. Where do we want to go next, gentlemen?
Quick shout out here. So 2 characters that I've really enjoyed in this show, even though they have very little screen time. BB Urich, I think she's really, really fun. And then also the police commissioner, who, yeah, he's only been in like 2 episodes maybe. I think that's what his role is. But yeah, like the first time he popped up is, I forget what it was. It was like that outside. It was like a memorial or something like that, right? And then he
Yes.
kind of threatened Fisk, and then Fisk later brought him into his office and pretty much like counter-threatened him. And now he is kind of just under his thumb, even though he's not like a corrupt cop like the task force is. But I really enjoy the conversation between those 2 characters. Obviously, they haven't like interacted to this point, but just kind of passing information from each other, also kind of talking in riddles a little bit until they like felt each other out a little bit more, and then they kind of were, okay, we can kind of work together here, but also like we can't blow our cover here, we can't let anyone know. There's the one guy they keep cutting back to who was like staring at them the whole time,
Yeah,
and he did
that
nothing,
makes
and
me
I was like,
next week I'm worried.
he's
that,
going after the commissioner or something.
Yeah,
Maybe
'cause that was a very risky spot. Like to talk in public like that, and with those people watching, I do think the
Yeah.
commissioner could eat it next week.
it was just weird because like the shots weren't even like the guy was like looking at them. He was just like looking around in general, but the way they cut it is like, well, obviously you'd be watching them and seeing that conversation happen. But then, I mean, just even seeing like BB like kind of admitting, okay, like I'm yes, I am posting these pieces, but also I'm posting these other pieces under another name. And then like, okay, I got to get back to my cover here. And of course she says it in like a nicer way that wouldn't blow her cover. So yeah, really, I've enjoyed those characters throughout, even though they get little screen time, but it was cool to see them together. And yeah, I mean, as you mentioned, like the commissioner might be 6 feet under next week, but if he's not, I think that could be a really fun dynamic. Those 2 working together from like the media and the police, and having good people on those.
Well,
2
especially
spheres.
next week if she publishes this report, even if it's under a different name. He's like, oh, I got all files on the crooked cops. They're going to know it was him, right? So that's why I just feel like his time in this world is not too long. But yeah, this was, I think, BB's best episode, probably because she was in it the most and actually had some big drama stuff. And I love all the turns of, we talked about this last week, where they show the newspaper, shows she completely went with Fist sides. So like, oh man, what's going on there? And then she's like talking with Daniel and taking drinks and talking about gonna dance. This is all before she talks to the commissioner. I'm like, why would you do this? Like, he almost like threatened your life last week. Like, I was actively, as the show was going on, I was so worried. I'm like, oh, my like for BB's going down, because this feels like a dumb like character of like, oh, he threatened me, but then in this episode he apologized, so like whatever, he's a cool, powerful guy. But then I loved in that conversation with the commissioner, like all that dropped, and you could see like, she doesn't care about any of these people. She knows Fisk killed her uncle. She's completely there, just going like undercover. So it's like, I'm so invested for. I'm gonna assume she makes it out next week. I feel like this is laying the breadcrumbs for more. I can't wait for her.
She's
next
sticking
season
around for sure.
Yeah, I can't wait for her to get more into the group, kind of like how Yurik did, or even Karen when she was a reporter, right? Like I hope that she interlinks with Matt and all the other people. And out of the new side characters, I like her the most. I can't remember Matt's lawyer buddy, and I can't remember the other cop. What's his name?
Cherry.
Yeah, like they're all fine, and I don't know if it's an acting thing or anything, but BB's definitely like, if you had to say, hey, you can only keep one of these new characters, it's BB all the way, and she's done a great job. So, and I can't wait for her just to fucking use Daniel more, because I think that Michael Gandolfini is being such a good job being a slime ball. Like this episode being that like trying to be charismatic, he got a promotion, but I think he's doing such a good job as like a guy you just want to punch, like, oh, like and again last week he
Very
did kind of
punchable.
threaten her, and now he's just like calling her his friend and saying, oh, I got like a little carried away. It's like, no, dude, you were talking in a very creepy, like not cool way. Like that's not like an apology. That's a fucking like, what would that be called? What is it? You file a report to keep someone away from you.
Restraining order.
Yeah, that's the way he was talking last week, of like, never talk to me again. So when she was talking to him, but then it was revealed, I'm like, okay, perfect. So yeah, BB.
Playing the game.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what happens next with BB. And yeah, I think Cop's dying next week. That's my prediction. Because he already got in the other people's face too when they fried up that guy's
Kitchen
hand.
scene. Yeah.
For like, just take. I want to know why he was taking photos, because he took photos and like ran off. We didn't get that.
He's
answer,
press.
but-
He's media.
That wasn't
The-
that same guy, was it? The
Yeah, that's-
commissioner?
No,
Oh,
no.
sorry, not the commissioner. I thought you
No.
said the
Deep fryer,
commissioner
deep
was
fryer.
taking photos. I'm
I
like,
guess, but like,
holy
what
hell.
it? I guess for me, it's just like, what was he taking photos of that like I don't think like Fisk walked out of the room. He was alone. He's standing there and someone takes a photo. And he's like, "Grab that guy!" Like I didn't think there was anything nefarious happening in that moment. I don't know. I think
Yeah, I
they
don't
could've-
know
The
if,
people
like,
he was
'cause-
talking to, I would say.
Yeah, Fisk
yeah,
was asking for like a donation, right?
Yes.
And like I don't know, maybe he was asking for like that to be anonymous or something, and then like that image would put them together and like track it down. I don't know.
I just think
I was so
because
confused
the
by that, too.
the cops just said like this is a no camera, no photo event, period. So
Yeah.
I think Fisk just didn't want. It was supposed to be private, kind of intimate. So I think it's as simple as that. Just have an investigative journalist who's taking photos when he shouldn't have, breaking the rules.
Right, only
laughed
have
so
one
hard, like-
journalist who's BB, who's on the inside. I guess is their idea.
Yeah,
She
'cause
didn't
she's,
have a
like, with
camera.
them. She didn't have a camera, and she's like with them, right? She put
Yeah.
the report that they wanted, right? So they probably look
Yeah,
at her as
exactly.
like, "Oh, we can
Be their mouthpiece.
she's Team Fisk. She's with us, whatever." So
Or she just didn't have his flash on, like that fucking guy did. Like Jesus Christ,
What the
like,
worst
right in the
time.
crowd.
Hey, we've all been there.
like,
We've all been
max
there.
volume as well. It was just-
Yeah,
It
he
was
flashed
that guy
like
just
3
fell.
times. Like what the hell?
Yeah.
Going on here, dude?
it was a
It was a
very
funny
bright
sequence.
phone. But now he's never gonna forget the Flash. Now he has a half-cooked hand. He is always gonna remember Flash
Yeah.
off. You know.
That's a good life lesson.
Yeah.
learned
Well, he
it
just
the
might
hard
be
way.
dead, right?
Yeah, that too.
He's close on the way there. Maybe his
Yeah.
hand will get infected
If-
next week.
Bullseye probably just saw him on the way in and just chucked a tooth at him and took him out.
Spat
gonna
in
Thought
use
he was
his
an
dead-
enemy.
He's gonna use his dead body as a weapon. He's gonna use
Headshot
Flash
Vanessa.
phone to blind people.
You know, he resupplies from his mouth. Just takes all his teeth. Got some
me
ammo.
those.
doing mouth to mouth. Just
Give me
pulling
those.
out teeth.
Yeah.
What was it? Oh yeah, the commissioner. His fate is pretty much sealed. I guess it's a good place to kill him is in the finale. I really did just like that sequence between BB and him that I was just like looking, I guess, misguidedly in a positive future where him and BB can kind of just like compare notes, and I don't know, just it reminded me of like the Ben Urich dynamic, Ben like either Karen or just other characters that have worked together to just crack down on Fisk and his nefarious ways. But I didn't think he was gonna die as early as next week, but I also kind of forgot how close we are to the end already. This is the penultimate, so
Yeah.
Big fan.
I think it's over for you.
Yeah.
And I think it'll come before BB really gets a lot of good information out of him. Like maybe he'll be able to point her in a direction, like to lead us into season 2, so that jumping into season 2 we can kind of pick up on what she's been digging up. But I think it'll be she'll be bummed that he dies too quick.
Yeah, I'm torn on that because you're right. We've seen that happen before where someone's just about like Agent Nadeem, right? In season 3, like just about to blow the whistle and everything, and then Fisk takes him out, right? So that's
Yeah.
the thing where it's a tough, which I guess Nadeem, he was smart, he recorded something. So maybe this guy will record something too. But yeah, I could see that going either way of him sending the emails and them taking that as like, that's why we have to kill him, or him like about to hit send, Wi-Fi drops, and then they grab him, kill him from that Subway shop or whatever Fisk was eating with that gross sandwich. So, and plus I feel like next season the anti-task force is going to be even stronger. So it kind of makes sense that you have maybe one of these guys like a captain that might try to stop them or try to speak against them, but now that he's dead, they'll probably just replace him with someone super shady now. Someone that's completely just loyal to Fisk. Like, I bet the guy, that cop, I never remember his name, that Matt's had all the issues with. He was the dirty cop. He's the guy that burned him. I could see them being like, he's the leader of the task force and he's the police captain, right? Like, so it's just ultra like the cops are just fucking. And again, I don't know what's gonna happen next week of like. Because I think they're in season 2. Like, Punisher's going to kill some of them. I just don't know if he's going to kill those head honcho ones. So that's why I think you could get someone in the task force as the new captain, because they're just adding more of them after Frank's like off like a good dozen of them, So
Or maybe we get like a big Bullseye v Punisher
I hope
battle.
so, man.
Punisher trying to, what the fuck did you do to Red? I'll take you out.
I'm begging to see those two fucking mental cases, man. I'm begging to see those two have a scene together. Like the moment, if we have a scene where Frank shows up and he's killed a bunch of those cops, and then he looks down the street and he sees Bullseye just sitting there waiting.
Chills.
My God, that stare down's gonna be something. Maybe that's the special. Maybe Bullseye's the villain of the special. I would take that too. But
That'd be cool.
yeah, I can't wait for Frank next week. Oh,
Can't wait.
What else have we talked about? Oh, Heather. Can we talk about Heather here?
We can.
Go for it.
Yeah, they've made me not like this character at all. Her opening up with just, again, we talked about this last week where Fisk's like, we've caught a vigilante in Muse. And we're like, well, that's not how it works. Muse is killing 60 people, Daredevil saving people. Doesn't really make any sense. The fact that they're like making Heather be like, well, Fisk is making a difference, and like, oh, they are the same. And she's like, oh, well, Daredevil saves people. And she's like, I saved myself. That's not what happened. She did not save herself last week. Her wrists were getting cut up. She was tied. Daredevil got her, and she happened to get a gun. Woo-wee, like that. And then also so Matt, like, he answers the door, and Buck's there, right, and gives the whole spiel, but we like to see you there. When they met, and I'm assuming it's been multiple months now, they have keys to each other's apartments, but even the first date they met, that was the night that Fisk won the mayoral erection. He didn't because Vanessa someone else, but he won the election, right? And he even that night said like, yeah, I got a really bad history of Fisk. I would imagine if when I met Emily, and let's say there's someone that we had acquaintance and said, I had a really bad history, eventually I'd probably ask, hey, what is that bad history? And of course he's not getting into like, I'm Daredevil and we fought, but like you could say, hey, it's on record, he tried to kill multiple of my friends. Even the cop tonight said like he was the main suspect in the Ben Yerk murder. So you would know as the girlfriend, like he has all this trauma with this guy who multiple times tried to ruin his life. You also, Matt Murdock, sent him to prison. So the fact that he's like, I don't know if I want to go that. She's like, what do you mean? You don't want to go? Like, fuck you, Matt. You're such an asshole. It's like, I was hoping this character would die because they just made her so unlikable, from the not understanding the Muse and Daredevil difference to not understanding why Matt Murdock would have an issue going to the Fisk mayoral inaugural event. Like it just was odd. It just felt like we need Matt and her to be at odds, so we're gonna make her act this way. So, and I don't think the actor, nothing wrong with the actress. I hope something changes to get around next season, but I would be completely fine if at the end of the events of next episode, they split off and go separate ways, and that's it, because they've maybe not care about this character at all, and I feel like they just made efforts to make her a very unlikable character. So yeah, I was annoyed the whole time by this in this episode.
And only thing I haven't heard fence is like, I don't think Matt does a good job at all of explaining anything. He just like pushes it off and gives her like non-answers. And then he's also super shady and like doesn't answer a lot of things. Like he's been very checked out recently, you know, even once again, like I feel like we were getting that scene where she was talking to him. Are you even listening to me? And she's asking him stuff. And as the viewer, we're kind of cut out of what she's actually asking to him, right? Like she's actively talking to him, and we're getting what he's hearing about like Jack and Fisk talking in the room. So like she probably is asking him more like targeted questions or more interesting questions, and he's just not giving her the time of day, and we're like seeing more of his perspective. But I mean, otherwise, I definitely agree with you. Like I'm just not that invested in this character. And I don't know. Yeah, just like some of the dialogue specifically around like the vigilante stuff, I feel like that stuff feels very like forced in the way she talks about them. Like, oh, they're just like immature teenage boys, like whatever she's saying, like all that stuff I think is not super well written. And I think maybe, especially like since they stopped doing the sessions with her, like as the therapist, which I guess that was only like, I'm trying to think of the last one we got, because obviously she stopped doing that last week because of the Muse stuff.
Yeah.
But I feel like they didn't really maybe know what to do with that character in the second half of the show, once she was kind of not doing that therapist stuff anymore. And it sounds like we aren't going to get that anymore, because Vanessa's like, oh yeah, we're good now, so don't need you anymore. So yeah, I guess maybe they're just struggling to do like what to do with her. But you're right, like I don't really know what her plot could be then going forward if she's not really part of that storyline anymore, and she's not part of the Muse thing anymore. So now all she is this connection to Matt. And so I don't know, maybe he does finally reveal that he's Daredevil and explains all that stuff, and then maybe that's where it becomes a little more interesting. But yeah, for right now, I feel like we've kind of run through everything that we could be doing.
She's in the hospital bed, just like, you're a weak little boy, Matt, when she says that he's Daredevil. Like, she just berades him, reports to the cops, everything, you know? Maybe next season she's just Team Fisk and working with him, you know?
You're no
Seems
Frank
like right
Castle.
direction.
Yeah, she wants to talk to Frank Cat. Yeah, get me out of there.
I got pretty excited when Buck showed up, because it was like, okay, now we're finally gonna get the reveal that like Matt knows this, and then I was excited that they were gonna potentially be at the party together, because that would have been like Fisk realizing all these things. So it was an enticing like lead up to just what we've been building towards, kind of like the whole season. And yeah, I definitely was disappointed, I think, with just what happened. I really wasn't expecting her to just be so pro Fisk, and yeah, just the dialogue was just kind of cheesy. And yeah, to like what Dylan brought up, like Matt definitely isn't giving her much to work with, but it just, I don't know, it just seemed like a pretty aggressive, like overall just situation from both of their camps. And then like this is the penultimate now, and it just seems like this is what the dynamic's gonna be for the rest of the season. Because I don't know, I just don't think Matt, like his main focus is like saving that relationship, and it doesn't seem like that's like her main focus either. And maybe him revealing that he's Daredevil would like help the situation, maybe worsen it. But I don't even want that to happen, because I already just feel like he gets his secret just revealed way too much, even just like judging by the previous show. So
don't trust her. There's no reason to trust
exactly.
her.
Like it was such a big moment for, you know, the Karen or like Foggy, like these big characters that are close to Matt, that have been close to him for a while. Their bond was like stronger than what it seems these two characters are, at least for what was like shown here. And I don't personally want it to be salvaged for like the sake of the show or storytelling or whatnot. I don't know.
Taylor, any thoughts on her?
I mean, yeah, I feel like her actions now are just attributed to the fact that, okay, she just went through this very crazy accident and scenario.
Accident.
Yeah, with Muse kind of like almost killing her.
But she saved herself.
I just feel like, let's say tomorrow I get attacked by a serial killer, then 6 months later I come back on the podcast, go, I'm back, you know, I had an accident, but I've returned to Geek. I wouldn't describe it as an accident, but, you know, that's fair enough.
I'll think about it. I would say
Circle back to it.
circle back. The one other thing too, and this is, how do I explain this?
Let's find out.
I find it kind of maybe annoying when a character is like, "Oh, I just went through this and da 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 da," but it's justified because
Sorry, Madison.
well, they went through all of this debacle, but we as the viewer know with Matt's perspective, and this is where I find that character can be kind of annoying, because with Matt's like he can relate to her, but she's like, you don't understand, like you need to process this, da 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 da. And yes, there are some things he needs to process, but at the same time, he's also a vigilante who's fought resurrected fucking samurai or ninjas, the hand. He's gone through so much crazy shit, and she obviously doesn't understand that and know that about him, and I get that, but it's something that I find kind of annoying when she shot and killed a serial killer, and then you have Daredevil who's gone through all this crazy shit, and just the comparisons and her just trying to find the reason in everything and try to like bridge the gap. I don't know. It's just something with the character, but it's not anything. It's my own personal issue, I guess, with it. But overall, is she my favorite fling of Matt's? No, but I think
Is she not ranked last for you?
Is she not ranked last?
Yeah, like who would you put above her out of the people? Because you shared that in the Daredevil spoilers.
I did, and I didn't answer that question actually.
Like she's easily last for me.
Dawson would be, I think, last.
Rosario Dawson?
Yeah, I didn't get any. I like their friendship more, but I didn't have any kind of jive with them romantically, I'd say. Okay. And then they would pop up after that. But no, I saw someone say Matt and Karen, and then Daredevil and Elektra. Those are the two. That's how they would kind of pair it off.
No, Karen's with Punisher. That's where it is.
Yeah, I mean, if I had my pick,
100%.
Elektra for sure. I think Elektra's the two of them together is just like.
No, the correct answer.
What was that noise?
that was
going on there?
That was them.
Yeah, when we get her back, you know, she's out there somewhere, so I'm hoping that happens. Elektra, I'm hoping.
Oh, yeah.
that
Is she
happens
alive?
At some point.
Last time I saw her, she was going into that box because I never watched.
Yeah, you never watched Defenders. she perished in the same way Matt did in Defenders, where a building fell on them. So if Matt, who is not superpowered, can survive, Elektra, who is superpowered, can definitely survive. So she's out there. I think she's gonna come back. I think maybe even next year, to be honest. Because like I said, I feel like this show just was dripping in Netflix Daredevil fanboyism of like, oh yeah, this is the show you're waiting for. So
It's really I guess Daredevil and Elektra both kind of went out the same way as Scarlet Witch. So I think if he's alive, she's definitely alive.
man, let's get that couple together.
I'm down.
Oh man, what's her name now? God, Wanda and
Wilson?
Matt. That'd be great.
Wanda Poindexter.
I'm down for that too.
And then he has to fight Vision for his love, and I want to see Vision explain like the boat theory, whatever that was, to Bullseye and him not have any fucks given about it. But let's see. Okay, so the
Vanessa.
Heather stuff. Yeah,
Vanessa, yeah, we didn't talk about this yet. That she killed Andy. So I
she
think this was
did.
a really big moment of like, we've been wondering how is she going to react when she eventually finds him? Is she going to find him on her own? Is she going to, I didn't expect that he would just walk her down there, but that's what ended up happening. And I think, it was a really declarative moment. I mean, this whole episode was really like, I feel like the Vanessa turn of seeing more of her evil side. And as you were mentioning, Travis, like there was some of that going on in season 3, and I just completely forget about some of that stuff since I haven't watched the show in a long time. But yeah, like obviously the reveal that she was the one who called the hit on Foggy, but then also that she just straight up killed Andy, her ex-lover. And I think one, just to really declare her commitment to Fisk, but also like this is a loose end. And also just to put him out of his misery and not just leave him in there kind of rotting anymore. So I think it was a multi-level decision, but I think it was obviously super telling for her as a character. She's a lot more ruthless than I give her credit for sometimes, and I think it's just because she works in the shadows, whereas Fisk is he tries not to be super overt about all the illegal shit he does, but he's a lot more overt than she is, and so I think that was a pretty intense moment. I mean, she fucking fired into this guy like Bullseye shooting teeth.
Good
Like she was
shot.
going ham.
I mean, that's the fight. We're not gonna get Punisher Bullseye. We're gonna get Bullseye and Vanessa, and she's gonna be whipping her teeth at them.
I don't know if I want that.
Yeah,
I love too how it wasn't just like a quick execute. Like she shot him like in each limb. It seemed like
in the
yeah,
hands.
you're gonna suffer for a little bit here. It's not just a quick close the eyes, lights out moment. But
Yeah. I like that Fisk gave the meme answer too, where he's like, "You told me not to kill him, so I didn't." Like kind of what we theorized, where she said, "Don't kill him," and he didn't. He just kept him there, and yeah, R.I.P. to Adam and Andy. Tough way to go out. He was just having a good time. Meeting this lady, and now he's been down there for weeks to months, getting tortured, now shot to death. Family have no idea where he is. Like that's tough, but I guess it brought them closer together. Now I think Vanessa survived, and we spent the whole season going back and forth. So like who was gonna do it? And even last week we talked about it because I think someone in our chat and multiple people I saw people be like, oh, that's it, Fisk is gonna be after Vanessa, but we were like, I don't know, it kind of reads the other way of like he's in on taking out Luca, and they confirmed that this episode obviously that they together took out that guy because he was kind of a weasel. So I think now they are completely bonded. They're both getting into criminal organization ways. I will be curious if Fisk is at all mad about the Bullseye thing. I'm not saying he's gonna like divorce her or kill her or anything like that. I know he'll forgive her. He even said in this episode, like, if there's no us, there's no me. But I'm just curious what his reaction is to. He knew she was doing stuff on the side as far multiple things aside, but like for the business. But that's something obviously that impacted them greatly, and now Bullseye's still out there. And like I said, if they don't capture Bullseye, I feel like he's always. That's what I like about Bullseye. He's a problem for our heroes and our villains, which is a fun dynamic, right? Like every other character is completely, side A, side B. You got, I'll say,
He's
side
even like a
A.
problem for himself. He's just a problem.
Yes, he's just a problem. Yeah, and now he can't die, as far as we know. He got thrown off a building, didn't die. So like, I'm sure if you put him in like a, I don't know, like a wood chipper, that would take him out. But it's not like a simple, okay, we could just shoot him and he's over. It's gonna
Like
take
Skarsgård in Deadpool. That would probably do the trick.
Yeah,
he'd probably just headshot everyone with his organs, that shoot out of the chipper.
Oh, yeah.
Just
Oh
be
yeah,
shooting
martyrdom style, COD 4. Let's go.
Anything? I have one note here where something when Daniel got his promotion, they're saying, "Oh, the task force works," and they're saying that vigilante crime is down 30%. Not really sure how they're tracking that.
I found that funny.
Yeah, and it's like I feel like those stats are off because like Daredevil just came back, so you feel like that'd be up a little bit. And like, what is that saying? Is that saying like, are we assuming because they've talked about Punisher, Spider-Man, and Daredevil, and then I'm assuming like there's Luke Cage out there, Jessica Jones, Iron Fist, like those are the only heroes we really know. The Swordsman, I guess, right? Like there's like 7 heroes we know are vigilantes. Are we to assume this happened and like Jessica Jones and Luke Cage were like, well, I'm staying home now. Like is that gonna happen to Spider-Man 4 where it's like, well, I can't go out there anymore because it just felt like an odd thing to throw out there. And same thing, it's like that I feel like you can only throw that set out there is if you show a bunch of vigilantes and then you show, even if it's not one of those 7, like some character being like a new white tiger, you meet somebody like, I'm not going out there, like I'm scared to defend the city now. So it's just like there's no context for like, oh, it's down, like, well, how's it down? Who are these heroes that are like, fuck this, I'm not going out anymore? It just felt like an odd thing to throw out there that didn't make any sense. And that also the other lady's gonna die too, his former that advisor. Because Daniel, when they're at the dance, he's like, I was really worried about how we'd work together, and he's like, now I'm not worried about that at all. To me, that was almost insinuating that she's going to be taken out very soon, or they'll be, let go for some shady purposes. But yeah, I wasn't understanding the vigilante crime math. So
It's probably just a bullshit stat. Like politicians will just throw at people,
Mm-hmm.
It probably is. Yeah, it would track with Fisk too. He's a liar.
Do you think that guy's gonna get reprimanded because Fisk was like, when he heard about Bullseye being out, he's like, double that security or make sure it doesn't get through. And then like that guy clearly fucked up because Bullseye got right through.
Yeah, I feel like, I don't know, with the way, was there not a way they could have just took him to a bathroom and like exploded Bullseye? Like I felt like it was very risky to move him to General Pop. Like I know what their idea was, like, oh, he's gonna get fucked up in here, but it's like this guy's like a master assassin, and you're like, I actually thought he was gonna kill the General Pop people. I thought that's what was gonna happen because they cut away. I thought the next time he came back to them, they're just all gonna be dead. That didn't happen, but yeah, I just feel like that's because remember Daredevil season 2, they tried that with Punisher. We're like, how are we gonna get rid of Punisher? Well, we're gonna put him in this room, and all these other prisoners are gonna kill him, and that didn't work. And then they did the exact same thing with Bullseye again, and that didn't work. Right. So maybe this plan is not.
But different Fisk, right?
Different Fisk, but same plan.
Yeah, but I don't think Vanessa knew what Fisk did last time with Punisher, and then this time Fisk didn't know what Vanessa was doing with Bullseye. So.
But we don't know that though, because they said Matt got the information that Fisk is the one that put Bullseye in the General Pop, not Vanessa.
But do we know that's for sure though?
We don't. But we just know that's what he was fed. So I don't know.
Why would Fisk order Dexter to be?
Because he hates Dexter. Like he would want Dexter dead.
Why wait till now though? After a year later, after everything, why would you do it now?
Well, he just became mayor. He hasn't been mayor for a year, right? He just got mayor. Maybe he just I don't know.
It's been a few. I'd say it's been a few months though now.
But maybe that would have been shady. But now he's just ultra being shady. He's like, oh, whatever. Let's just do.
I don't know. Too coincidental.
Yeah. Hopefully they get answered next week. So.
Fair.
Anything else on this episode?
I'm noteless.
Okay, there we go, ladies and gentlemen. So, yeah, we will be back next week. Overall, sounds like we're pretty positive. So hopefully next week is the same. We get a nice, good ending, and then we can go into season 2 and just be excited. That's what I want. I want next week to end and just, tooth juice flowing, and we can be happy about next whatever. I'll just say 2026. We don't got a month, but yeah, we'll see. We'll be here next week as usual. We got the Discord, YouTube, whatever. If you got any thoughts, questions, patrons, concerns even, or something we missed, always let us know. We can refer back to it later on a different time. Thank you very much for tuning in this episode. I promise when you hear from us next, it'll not be boring.